There we go. Hang on a sec. Alright, let's go. The difference is this time I've gone ahead and done the event just because, you know, just kind of wanted to enjoy it first. And also see all the gags are there so I don't feel compelled to yell out, "This is the gag." So which means I have basically everyone now. There's only 4 training slots max, so I can't train her yet, but I even have... Where is she? There she is. You even have the girl herself. Well, not the logo behind her is. Because they all have their own logos. Anyway, off we go. Yeah, off we go. Can I move that over? I can't really. Wait. Oh, that's a good. Sorry, everything's still a bit of a wreck. So because I'm playing off of the iPad, an actual moving HDMI cable isn't the best in this setup at the moment. Give me a sec. There we go. Hooked the right shit. Yeah. This one kind of continues the trend of a lot of these events. Pretty much all of them since like DJ Max. I don't know if the Arxis one does the same. But, you know, they pick a character who's like in some way either like suitable or vaguely relevant for the event and then basically just drill it and make it their character moment. In this case, it's Ouroboros. Because, you know, snakes. I wouldn't. At least, as far as I know, Jormungandr here is new to this. Like, she's original for this, which is fine. Unless she was in, like, Cube Plus or something. I don't remember. I don't think she was. I'm pretty sure she's new for this. Strikes a weird balance where like the Sangus Fairy, like AI, I don't know, AI Battle Royale just leaves everyone as actual corpses instead of just deleting them, I guess. I think I've like outside of like the ones who are in the mainly in the direct plot, like probably Agent later, but mainly like Eliza and all that. Ouroboros, the Architect as well. Ouroboros and Architect kind of get like the most characterization of any of the Sangus leaders. Everyone else just kind of has their defined personalities, a few traits, and established relationships. Like, well, Dreamer and Destroyer also get a good bit. Basically, all the ones who actually star in events get good shit. Everyone else kind of exists. I'm juggling wires. I'm also having to juggling the phone screen because I only have the one active monitor. And I want to hear the science that's playing through the TV. The iPad's taken, of course. TV's taken. And, I have the phone for actually seeing chat and shit. Speak of the devil. This is from Operation Q, which was like the first event I streamed. I think I only streamed like... Did I only stream attempts at the final map? And I mean, that's the final map, and that was a fucking trip. I forget. It was a while ago now, eh? The interesting implication of this is that Ouroboros was like one of the last of the Sanguis ones he made into ringleaders or something. Even though like she's the current one in like the Sanguis capture pool. And that was also the case back on like, when this is first coming out and all, and this collab and everything. I actually say that, but I don't know if this collab actually ran during it. It couldn't have, because it already implies you have Agent and everything, which means it's after. It's definitely set after Dual Round in this. Gonna fucking like digger. Just go for it. Just fists up, like right here and now. Not that it works, but I will always find it funny that for all like the occasional ways of like, graphic censorship, and well, I guess they feel like that's mainly only on the CN, like the Chinese server, like everyone else is fine. But as far as I know, like they never change the engine sprite. Which is just direly funny considering. Some people, like there was, what was it? Yeah, occasionally when like a skin is shown on the Twitter or whatever, like the GFL Twitter, and it's particularly horny, you'll get people screeching about like, oh, this game, I thought this game was better than this, I thought it was better than all the other ones. It's like, Agent Sprite, which looks like this, and she's doing this, is right there in Chapter 1. It was that way from launch, along with a bunch of the other crazier designs. Some people just fucking weird. And like, oh, well, I thought we were better. And it's like, no, this is a gacha game, welcome. They're all like this. Any ones that aren't like this are like fucking the Tom and Jerry one, and probably the Dragon Ball ones to some extent. Ones like that. I suppose the interesting thing is, like, we technically, like Architect, who we captured in Arctic Warfare, we technically always had a Ouroboros, so like, we nicked her AI core, like her neural core, all that. We've had it the entire time, but we still don't get her for free, or Architect for free for that matter, despite both of them referencing the fact that they had been captured for ages, and in Architect's case had to some degree been collaborating because that's how the Hawks were made. Speaking of the devil. Yeah, well, in the end, we haven't reached the I haven't reached the point where we can get agent. I know it would be a bit tragic if we end up getting to the point, and it may actually happen when we get to the point where we're getting the posted dual randomness Sanga's ringleaders before we get dual randomness. English server of GFL hasn't had it good lately. Like, there was a massive content draw. Like, basically, we had to polarize light. It was just, you know, went into the usual, like, 2-3 months downturn. That's fine, whatever. Recover, do your basic events like theater. And then, theater's ongoing, actually. Still need to do today's run, so I might do that at some point. What was it? And then it kept going, and I didn't care too much, because, like, for the most part, I don't really care that much. Usually with, like, this, because I just turn it on, do my dailies, collect everything, build up for the next release of dolls or neural mods or whatever. And that's fine, except we're not at the point where the Japanese server, which started after us and had a different and weirder pace, and is still missing some of the things we have, has overtaken us in story. They have gone through chapter 13, they're getting it now, or have gotten it. They will be in dual randomness likely before us. And this doesn't bode well, that's just not good. And a lot of the stuff said and shown and proven about like the EN server who's running it Magic basically shows like, oh, this is in very few hands, those hands are not very well supported, and they're not terribly good at this anyway. And Sunborn wants to release fucking Project NeuroCloud and fucking GFL2 over here at some point. It's like, you're having a laugh. If you can't even manage a game like GFL1, I would not trust you to run more than one game. Never mind, like, the fucking 3 of these. It was a time for Doom posting this past month. At least, you know, like, we got the new Halloween event, and that was good. We're missing, like, we're missing actually a lot of dolls we should have had by now for no good reason. We've had an extremely inanely long time between, like, story progress for no fucking good reason. Genuinely just for no fucking good reason. They are, for some reason, speeding us through the theaters to get us ready for the next client, which will also give us access to the new theater mechanics, Theater 7 onwards. But that comes well after fucking Mirror Stage, never mind dual randomness. And we've already been told pretty much that we're getting the VA11 collab rerun, which is great to see. That was a fucking fantastic event, I'm glad to see it again. And apparently it even has new stuff in it, the rerun. We're getting that before dual randomness, which means we're probably not getting dual randomness for like fucking, I don't know, like, it's probably entirely likely we won't see it until like a full year after Polarized Light, which is pretty bad. I do love Agent teasing the shit out of Ouroboros here. It's nice that she has a very, you know, straight-laced manner, even as she is just like still sadistic to her underlings. Well, some of them anyway. There's a storm on, so now we have to duel. E90 is on the cover art for this one, like she's the doll running around after Jashin on the, like, the title page from the start of the stream. And that's kind of funny, because the way things go, like, I mean, they are, like, you know, core characters and all, but none of the actual dolls do very much. It's pretty much the Ouroboros and Jashin show, really. Kind of literally, as we'll get into. It was cool seeing this, that they actually did these CGs, and apparently we did just design Sangva's rooms on the Sangva's part of the base with red lights and everything just to make them feel at home. I do like that as well. Like, MDR's like paranormal stream channel stuff is ongoing, and also they'll reference it in a bit. Pardon me. She doesn't wear that much black. Yeah, there it is. They referenced the Halloween event we just got, and I partially wonder if we wouldn't have got that if there wasn't a line here referencing it. Given the way Yen seems to be run, where they're just kind of like, well, some people somewhere maybe said they want the pace slow for some reason. And fuck everyone else. Some of them said that, so we slowed it down to nothing. Apparently that's the reasoning anyway. The notion that you have to take stock and measure of the entire, player base, see what everyone's saying and thinking, and not just the few who respond to you on Discord or whatever the fuck, because it's usually the Discord, are the only ones who matter. But, what can you do? And there she is. Getting the faces down was important, and they do have the faces down, especially for Jashin. It is her dog, or however you pronounce that. Pop. K5 just drawing magic circles in the Sangva's territory just because she can. Not even to fuck with them, just because she can. Helpfully explaining that, but then also, like, 4 souls? That kind of answers the question, doesn't it? Dolls do have souls. At least as far as, ancient hell magic is concerned. I wonder if that's technically spoilers. I suppose it wouldn't be, because by this point you know, right? Because polarized light and all that makes it pretty clear. Where am I going? Chapter 1. It makes it pretty clear that, M4 is no ordinary robot. That's the anime OP in the background. Just, explaining it to you because fun as it is, and it actually did, it's like, within its, tier pretty well. well enough that, like, it's been a manga that's been running for a bit. Then it got its anime adaptation, which, while nothing big or crazy, at least looked stable and consistent for what it was, and it was pretty fun all the way through. Pretty funny. I quite enjoyed it. They got a season 2, which was also pretty good and pretty funny. I find lately that, unless it's, well, I guess that's actually, oops, that's actually why, I'll interrupt my own thought. was gonna say, usually, like, anime stuff that gets a season 2 lately seems to fuck it. But, one's based... Well, one's based off of, like, long manga they adopt from usually don't fuck it in season 2 or whatever, but thinking about it... No, the ones that would use examples were also manga, or had them anyway. So, never mind. Please handle it in post. There's a certain style to like doing meta humor, and basically it's like if you want to do meta humor, you kind of have to go all in, I guess. You know, like it can't be like mostly, how would I say it? Mostly, I guess, diegetic with occasional asides. I don't even know if it's necessarily the right use of diegetic in this case. But, what's that game called? It's one I played a demo of recently in the most recent Steam festival that I'm aware of. The one in September. Evil Wizard. Now, that was one that had, like, reference humor. And I guess that's kind of it. There's a difference between, like, you know, there's, of course... Jashin makes references, there's Dragon Ball ones all over the place in particular at some points. More overt ones, some of them actually get made in here, which is surprising to see. Let me sec. Pardon me. Yeah, like, they, you know, make references, they make a lot of meta humor. I get, like, part of it is, you know, it makes itself, like, extremely overtly, so there's no real overarching story, it's just a gag show. I guess it's kind of, you just have to kind of be overtly a gag thing and not trying to actually string along a... The Evil Wizard was kind of, like, the same sort of thing. Like, the idea was it was a isometric hack and slash. And you play an evil wizard and it had reference humor, like, oh, you find a sword and he's like, oh, it's the master sword, hee hee ho ho. You know, like, the second and third NPCs you talk to are Rick and Morty reference, all that sort of shit. And it might be the selection of references, I suppose. I think it's mainly, like, the execution of it. Evil Wizard just fucking slings it in there and there's not really any... Not really any point, like, it doesn't really establish itself before that point. While it is, you know, overtly humorous and all that and cartoony, it's not really, I suppose it's not really very meta on the whole. Like, it has meta references. The guy goes, oh, I'm in a video game, etc, etc. And like, oh, you're a minion, you're an NPC, all that. But a lot of the game and the overarching story around the joke scenes don't really care about the meta aspect. They're not really built around it or anything. They're just kind of straight-laced and plain. Whereas stuff like Jashin-chan is overtly, for all of its, you know, it does have a setting and it does have like a base plotline thing, but it basically abandons it immediately just to be a slice of life gag show with, you know, very dark humor. And I think I remember right, it's actually listed as a black comedy on Wikipedia just because it is vicious, gory murder and just, you know, violent retribution for being a shit. One thing they don't actually address is, like, none of them reference having their guns, despite, you know, having them on their images and everything. Yeah, no, pretty much they don't reference actually having the weapons at any point, which is, you know, funny. Because you think, like, Ouroboros explicitly doesn't have her weapons, like, she doesn't have her fucking guns. Like, she has big cannonballs, she doesn't have them. But the others have their guns, or I wouldn't have thought, but apparently they don't, which makes me believe that CZ and NZ were just gonna duke it out with their fists for their duel. Carpet. I'm pretty sure it's tatami mats. I mean, P90 is accepting of many things. Hello, Snake Girl. It is funny that they acknowledge. Theoretically, you could just have a Lamiroid doll, I suppose. This is the best face in the whole thing. A lot of her faces will make up like a lot of the best parts of the show. What was her name again? Jashin is voiced by Aina Suzuki? I can't Google it to check like what her surname was. But basically she's like both the voice and, you know, singer for Mari from Love Live Sunshine. Which is deeply funny to me. Loving, like, you know, really liking and loving Love Live, as I do. So, hearing her in something else, and specifically in a thing where, like, she's singing the theme song where, like, the opening bit of it is just chanting Satan over and over again. And a show where she's constantly swearing and doing really hideous death cries and going, just kill me already shit. It's a very funny divergence. It's a fucking perfect pick for her. It's just good at be like voicing a little shit. We're in full comedy mode because they address that, you know, there is background music and everything. Like, granted, she doesn't have any reason to understand what they're saying, but it's kind of funny that they do eventually accept that they are robots, but no one actually acknowledges that the four of them are robots. Robo is just sitting in the background, just trying to phone. Just wants to go home. Explicitly sets up this plan to kill Urine, and then it still makes an aside of, I'm sorry for destroying your reputation. The only cityscapes we know are the likes of Belgrade, which is an irradiated ruin at this point still, I think. If I remember right, Dual Randomness is set in Berlin, and I don't know if we leave that one in the irradiated ruin. Maybe, maybe not. It would be unfortunate if we did, because then we would be establishing a bad pattern. Ugh. Fuck. I woke up at 8 o'clock today to discover that, discovered, like, emails from, not email, text messages from the bank going, like, hey, I don't know, card problems, like, what is the problem? I phone them, like, oh, there's no actual problem. You just haven't used this in a while, and we were wondering if you were going to use it again. It's like, constantly say, like, be very careful using it, but also you must use it. You must use it or we'll get stroppy about you having it. I think, it's not really a surprise that, like, a lot of the dolls P90 just, I do like this. The perfect moment for a dogazer. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, just as I'm beginning to properly see it money, it's like, oh, hey, why aren't you spending the money? I do like that. It's the first time one of these ones acknowledges, oh yeah, like, the dolls are basically war machines, though. They are Terminators. They are just Terminators under that. You don't necessarily know that time here passes the same way as back home. But I guess it's a safe assumption to make. Yeah. Well, the dolls will love your commander, but P90 being one of the top ones, just calling you honey and everything, is just kind of funny given all her other appearances. She's just up being a little shit as well. CZ knows this. NZ and P90 just don't care. Because they're both snakes, do you get it? I do like this. She thinks she's an actual demon from the actual hell. I starts calling her Little Snake as well, it's cute. Especially since Jashin is actually kind of short. Yeah, no, she is kind of short. Her snake tail is not all that long, actually. I don't know how to hunt witches. I suppose, they would use their guns here. That is a funny thing. We did keep using Ouroboros as like a simulated enemy in data in like training sims and combat sims and shit. Just because we had her to hand, I suppose. There was, what was it? I think it's one of the mod stories. It might have been SAAs. It was SAAs or it was M18. No, it was SSAs, I think. Her mod story actually has her and another doll, not a handgun. It might even be CZ. Going to duel, falling into, like, going to duel on, like, pardon me, on the network. And then end up falling into a space where, like, fucking Ouroboros and I think Architect are. And, getting stuck in a fight against them. Ouroboros and someone else, I forget, one of the two. She might look like an ordinary undergrad. Running had a lot of weapons and implements. Guns up. Level 1. I haven't done most of the EX stages because I haven't bothered yet. This was a recurring bit as well. Yeah, this is the same one. It's fussy. No. Touchscreen, say I love them. Anyway. Before I had the infinite stage for like grinding unlocked, I used this one for grinding. A little bit, hence the 8 of 10. Oop. Thing slid out of my hand. I'm not really gonna do any of the EX ones, this is gonna be bullying basically. Just to show off the enemies, and mainly the animations and stuff. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Jashin can take the basic little shitheads, I think. He has issue with the enemies who have like red health bars, ones with the Oni, because the little tiny Oni have... Ugh. God, they have little like they throw their clubs, and the clubs can cause stun, so that she can get stun locked and torn down to pieces, basically. It didn't even move anyway, so fuck it. Yeah, Jashin is a submachine gun, so she's a tank because her whole deal. I have a lot of those go off? I might have all go off. Her whole deal is that, you know, as a tank, she gets hit and, you know, beaten up, which is a lot of what happens to her in the show for being a shithead. So, you know, the only righteous pick. But the funny thing is, because she doesn't have a gun, she just attacks by doing her dropkick over and over again, and then her skill is just a bigger dropkick. I've already done today's grinding in here, just which actually was what let me unlock her. That was the right one, right? Yes. Your day. She is freakishly strong. Yeah.
Jashin-chan Dropkick!
Another really good face. They do have a few little voice lines, but I think mostly ones they argue for, you know, the unit voice lines scattered in here and there. Anyway, this is the usual pattern of their dynamic for a lot of the show. Only GFL, I guess, mercifully for their whole situation with dealing with Chinese censors, I'm gonna say CN censors. Because he's saying CN server for the Chinese server. Don't have to worry about that. Right. Eagle-eyed viewers will have noticed that the P90 sprite loses the sunglasses once the teleportation happens. Which is a fun little detail that they actually thought to do. It is fun to see that Asian does, and presumably the other Chinese units are now been here long enough that they do just walk around the base and interact, and that's just how it goes. I need to crack open my computer case and like fucking. Like one of the fans in there is behaving a bit fucky. Okay, like every so often it just kind of grunts a bit or something. It's kind of like, that doesn't sound good. It might. I don't know if it's a. No, because I cleaned it. Well. No, I cleaned it a while ago, actually. I haven't actually opened it. Since the room got fucked, I haven't opened it up to clean it. So. That could be it. Yep. True to life. That's what I do when I don't feel like doing anything else. I couldn't find the dongle. I was gonna still stream, just to have something to stream and talk shit over. But it was mainly gonna be like, pardon me, probably Final Fantasy 14, so I'm still doing relic grinding and that. There's not much else I can get up to before Endwalker hits in like 2 weeks. To think we would already be. No, yeah, it would have been today, actually. The delay hadn't happened. Today would have been like, you know, the second I got out of work and got dinner and all sorted. It would have been like on here, streaming like fucking unlocking Reaper and starting to level it in Bosnia. Speaking of which, I need to use the extra times that I only just got Blacksmith to level 80. I need to use the extra time and get like Carpenter up, pardon me, to be completely safe. I figure it's gonna be Blacksmith that makes the scythe, but you know, who can say? Oh, that's presuming that they do that. You make a Hades scythe. I'm still holding out for that. Also, I do like that the commander just watches Jashin-chan, the anime, when he's bored. Lord knows I do. I'm quite fond of it. It's not like a. I find it very funny, and I really like the characters. I'm very fond of it. It's not exactly one I'd be like, oh, you have to watch this. Oh, it's like 10 out of 10 or whatever. It's like, I would admit, solid like 7 out of 10 or whatever, but it is a very comfortable 7 out of 10. It's a 7 out of 10 I'm quite fond of returning to, and in some ways that makes it better. I suppose really there's nothing to stop me from saying that it is a 9 out of 10 or whatever to me. And that's where we get into all the fuckery with like scores and the meaning thereof. It's kind of like I acknowledge that it's not, you know, it's not the best written or the best animated or, you know, illustrated, but it does enough stuff very well and it's got a lot of charm. So it's funny. It gets a lot of the humor right, I think. At least the humor gels on me, I should probably say. felt like I went down the wrong pipe a wee bit. Oh yeah, and also, it's not only an actual show, but it's, they actually teleported into the show. Their meta world is real. This is like, the little ice demon is like the event fairy, and they actually did do a sprite for her older sister, and her older sister only appears like here. It's like, oh. Alright, fuck him with the water ball. I mean, probably not, eh? You know, she'll keep trying, but the demons probably won't. Probably.
Jashin-chan Dropkick!
They use what they can get. There was a third season of Jashin-chan planned. I think if I'm right, it was like crowd-funded. Well, the season 1 Blu-ray sold decently well for what it was. I forget if the season 2 ones also did, but they needed to or wanted to either or crowd sources to get it made. Like help the funding. Oops, help the funding. Yeah, she tends to do that. Also tends to do this. Like, the cutlery sound is so fucking involved, and how's the sound, at least I'm pretty sure the sound clearly of, like, budging a fork or a knife or something when she's just drinking tea. Yeah, ordinary. I think, like, remember she is legitimately high ranking, which is very funny. And this is just the entire plot setup for why they just live together having their silly shit. I do appreciate that. I'm pretty sure. Actually, you know what? They might have made the same joke in Chinese. The "you damn snake, you played us like a fiddle." They knew what they were doing. Be it spell. So you're fucked. Snap. And again, just abject torment of Jashin after she's fucked about and caused problems is the entire well, not the entire road day, but it's the usual go-to joke of the show. I do like this detail. Just anytime Kalina can't sell dorm furniture, when the gacha doesn't do well, Kalina goes into the rescue station to argue with parrots. Why does she do this? God knows. What, like, as being on the war front and having to write combat reports a lot of the time just completely destroyed her brain? Probably. Yeah. Vicious murder and torment. And they decided, yeah, we're not staying in the murder house. I don't feel like working, so I'll stay. But not even Ouroboros can bring herself to stay calm around the murder machine. She's actually secretly just sucking power out of the building. She's also not a very good shopkeep, surprise. She's unwilling to leave the power socket, so she just stands there with her bum plugged in. Whoop. Just a simple teleport. Fortunately, no one saw it. Which is like the one thing she can do. Occasionally make stupid faces without anyone catching her. Although, they often do catch her. Yep. It's alright. I do like that, man. Don't grab the hair, you will expose my tits. It is, you know, the fun thing about the GFL collabs is that they're used to, you know, like, essentially be a vehicle for characterization for whoever they want to give it to. You know, like, they have 950A and Thunder, or the Italian Dolls, you know, all them, or in this case, Ouroboros. The A11 actually was a lot of character for fucking Super Shorty, IDW, among others. There were a lot of character moments for everyone, even like M16, which was a very fun one. I don't give a shit about your plans. Send me back. Always being bullied by others. I know that you are fucking miserable. I too am fucking miserable. Let us do this. Snake solidarity. Well, the baby sister. She's the event fairy, but she's not very good. I don't know if her stats are like the stat buff she gives are good. But her ability is like she applies an actually sizable like vulnerability, and I forget what the other one is. It's vulnerability, I think. Might be movement? I forget. Mainly vulnerability. Like 30% vulnerability at skill level 10 to everyone, not just the enemies, your dolls too. And it's like, why? I get, you know, like, part of the joke is whenever they do the right thing, everyone else suffers. Sure. But also comparing her to a diner kid. But yeah, like, but sure, you know, still, it'd be nice if it was one, like, fucking anagram from VA11. It is actually a really good fairy. Like, pretty good stats, but also her skill, where she buffs the evasion of the front line and the damage of the back line. Actually, really good. Very handy. The snow makes me remember my suffering. Cold rain. See, the thing that gets me is that, like, Agent kind of suggests that being displeased with how stroppy and, you know, annoying and fucked up Ouroboros is, but you know, the Sanguis Ferry production line for Ouroboros, an experimental AI and all that, was literally a battle royale to see which of the 600, like the 1,000 odd ones or whatever, were allowed to, you know, survive. Pardon me. So, like, who are you to, you know, to judge Agent? By the time she was being made, I'm pretty sure that was, you know, in part your responsibility, but, you know. Just might work. She's only just now I realized that, you know, you don't have to go back. Yeah, she might subtly regret. Opportunity to show off various, like, you know, skin from each doll. Actually, I don't think P90 gets like one of her skin strings. She doesn't have an applicable one, but the others who do. This one is ordinarily a live 2D one, and she waves about trying to keep her balance on one foot. Oh, it's fine. This is a reference to a character from the series who, well, two characters actually from the series who are not here. No wonder you can't keep attendance, you suck at this. And this is the kind of jokes that showed it all up too. I say show manga, you know what I mean. I was gonna say show, fuck it. I didn't read the manga. It came first, I haven't read it yet. At some point I might. Why did you attempt to feed it to the dog? What are you people doing to my dog when I'm not looking? How many books can this store have? Think of the money. Pay in the city of Jim Butcher sucks. It's a miserable place to live if you aren't already to some degree wealthy. Or, you know, like just at least middle class, I guess. Urina doesn't seem to have problems with money. We'll get to that. At least they had free room and board. Oh, would you look at that? Extremely complex and would not fully fit in this volume. Calling your next volume Apocrypha though, which is literally just fake shit, is very funny. Also, that same joke happens in the series. There she is. She would have been a fun though to have. You could have done a thing where like she does like AoE blasts the whole screen or something. Standing outside of the shop waiting for her to appear. Andrew going, ah, in the sky. And then the rest of it is just, you know, as you'd expect. I've never had shaved ice, so I am like slightly curious. This is daylight robbery. Also, you left her in the desert. The hot, dusty desert. Good job, Jashin. Yeah, go drink some more water. Yeah. Yeah, let's just not mention what that means. I'm pretty sure this means they're making the ice, but you know, there is a added joke to it, which is like, let's leave it at that. Send her back. Shit. Fucking Does that even work on a machine? Apparently, yeah. What do you know? We need to stuff her in the sack. This does kind of continue the trend, and is a bit concerning in light of stuff. You know, like, yeah, their teams have been divided up. Especially at this point when they announced this and all, they were all still developing Project NeuroCloud, and Girls Frontline 2 is currently exploding in beta. They have like the closed beta tests, and people are not happy with it because it, at least most recently, was apparently pretty bad. It's just terribly unbalanced, where like you could barely move, but enemies can cover the entire map. Like enemies can circle around and flank you, and then still, like, you know, flank your dolls effortlessly, like circle around them, perfectly cover, get to a point where they have a like a advantage shot, and then just drill you. Not very many resources. Like there is randomized fairy drops that have like randomized stats and abilities and shit, which is like, why? The one thing the developers didn't address, because that whole show to address, feedback and mainly complaints, and they were like, oh, there's a lot of feedback, it's long and very angry. The one they just kind of skirted around was completely avoiding all mention of the gacha, which is really bad in GFL 2. It's a mixed character and weapon one. Increasingly and perturbingly the trend, especially now that Genshin Impact has exploded. That's kind of it, really. Like it takes a lot from a bunch of different like popular gacha games, and the big one there is like Genshin Impact. They want to basically have the exact same gacha banner because they're like, oh, this will make us money, without realizing why Genshin Impact exploded. Which is to say, choice of genre, aesthetic, and character design. Which I like the character designs of GFL too. Like, they look nice characters. Like the look of them. They're not gonna drive anyone ape shit the way Genshin does. Just, talking over these and having their awkward moment as Ouroboros tries to socialize. I do like the detail of Ouroboros is just searching the internet in her head to try and find a conversation topic, but it's too stupid to realize that she should just search conversation topic. It's like, maybe we should try and be friends with Ouroboros. That approving look. Whoops. I support you in this. None of our business. Let's go. Something about the little cutlery noise or whatever annoys me. Just something about that and the sound of like really exaggerated, very faked clicking of a mouse, typing of a keyboard, like the sort of stuff you hear in like fucking, especially TV ads, where it's like, go to our website, click, 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 click. And it's like, no, that makes me want to kill things. It activates like a hate trigger response and drives me to want to murder. I have sworn blood feuds and refuse to like engage with any company that use such things that I've been exposed to. Because just go to hell. Like get I don't know, get Foley artists for your cheap ads. It says like she wraps her tail around and uses a shield, but her tail's around them. I can hear her parts creaking. Oh no. Where she goes? Fuck it. Curious about this. Yeah, they have like a certain death tag, but when I fought these things, they died pretty fucking easily, so I don't know. I guess they're meant to be like death stacks that you avoid if you're relatively new and all that, if you're joining the game because you want to play the Jashin-chan Collab, which... I mean, that's adorable, I guess, like... certainly bold. I don't think it's randomized, so we'll just do it in the order that's to see all the little scenes. It might also be that it only triggers off of like the third one you do. When I did this the first and only time, I ended on the one over there on the left. A little animation. Well, doing it in the same order means I can't tell if it's like each scene is behind a specific spot or if it's always like plays them in order based on, you know, no matter which first you get, it's always the hot dog argument. Have a hot dog. So that pops up on a node, go occupy it. I think just getting any one does it because you need to eat 1 out of 3. You might as well get all 3. What do they do actual damage? How are you? Oh, you know what? You're taking more damage because the other team, Echelon 1, I forget, has Agent 416 who gets advanced damage through her bombs. But we can't summon another one, so... It'd be funny if that healed you for picking it up. Take this bowl of sheared ice. Love is like shaved ice, it vanishes for no reason. I should simply refuse to believe in love any longer, and simply consume it like food. You know, IT walks into the world to be a hellish force. It's gonna wander back down anyway, I think. We can't take that one because that will capture the tile and then, you know, get ants before we get to see number 3. But yeah, I keep forgetting about that aspect that, pardon me, that, Echelon 1 has advanced bomb damage, which really helps with these. Is it okay to give shaved ice to a cat? I know it's essentially, you know, water, but if you flavor it with stuff, is the stuff you flavor it with okay to give a cat? I say, looking at Luigi sleeping in his tower. Scoops the cat, eats the ice, puts the cat down. I do like that she even meowed in its place. Just a little touch of misery. Yeah, there's certain devs that do a lot of damage over time. I didn't see that the first time, but he's echelon 1 for everything. Again, they just, you know, murder, and that's it. Duly noted. Yeah, some things in here have the certain death type, which basically means they do a fuck tons of damage, and some of them are just certain death. Both been fired for skipping out of work and being bad at their work. Is that a demon joke when demons say to hell and back? That's funny. Like, haha, it has as much airtime as I do because it's short. Healing corner. What was the other one? Oh, it was Healing Chapter and Madness Chapter. Madness Chapter didn't get a season 2, only Healing Chapter did. This Madness Chapter is based off of tutorial gag comics and some just regular gag comics that I think they used all up and then they just didn't have anything for season 2. And Healing Chapter was the more popular one anyway. Which, to be fair, because it was very cute and very funny. Speaking of cute and funny. I think the whole of this one, that guy Jashin just kind of, you know, rips Medusa off and just constantly takes her money. Phone rings again, remember to bring money. Sometimes it's funny and sometimes it's kind of like, okay, you're laying it on thick, especially when you want to do the whole, oh, you pushed it too far and now she's actually mad at you because you're actually a shitbag thing. It's kind of like, okay, yeah. Some of that's funny and some of it's just like, okay, I get it. You know, like you've made your joke. It's not you're kind of rubbing against the line of you can make her that kind of shitty and have it make sense and be funny even for like a stupid comedy gag series. But just has to wear a bag on her head, otherwise people turn to stone. No, only humans anyway. Fun asset reuse where they plucked this out of the gunslinger girl assets, which is adorable. Be fair, you know, they made this. It would have been deeply funny if her costume alt was just the paper bag. But it's not. It's like an outfit she wore in one episode when she was making Valentine's chocolate. I think it was Valentine's chocolate. There's a few characters we meet from season 2 who aren't in this and or only get like an occasional reference. I think that was in season 2. I forget. It's been a while. Like, I watched it with Chris around the time this was first announced for CM, like when when it was announced for like, originally announced, and that was like fucking. Was that last year or was that the year? I think it was only last year it was announced. To be fair. And you know, we watched it some like shortly after that, and it was pretty fun. I definitely liked it more than Chris did, I think. Because I remember his review being... like, he liked it, but he was fairly critical. I do like this. They don't recreate the experience for you. They don't make it as loud as Japanese arcades and especially Japanese pachinko parlors and shit are. But every time I've seen like video and shit of them and heard people talk about them, they all kind of say and point out and show that they're just endless cacophonies of noise to the point that you can't just buy or be given earplugs at the venue to wear to protect your hearing. CZ7 has turned down all of the, Actually, I just realized. She does do a bit of, like... She does use gachapon stuff, and she does, you know, spend money on trying to get little gachapon figures and shit. But the main way she spent all her money in one of these places was pachinko, and they don't say pachinko here. It's capsule toys or gachapon only. Is that because it's a gacha game? And also it says Thailand capsule toy. I didn't notice that before. There's a lot of questions. Also, you know, the GFL promo thing using image from Operation Cube, actually, I think. Yeah, that was from like one of the opening, not the opening CG, but one of the initial cutscene CGs from Operation Cube, where they're on their way out. I think it was that case. Like they were on their way out to the mission. It is definitely intentional. I don't recognize the doll on the poster on the right, but they might be doing the Sonic the Hedgehog pose. I don't know. Goes Frontline Dango collection in the background. Really popular with the kids and her. I think this is also a live 2D outfit. It might not be actually. I don't remember. I think I have it, in which case it probably isn't one. If I have it so easily. They do actually lay on the whole like, she's my minion, gives me money thing a lot harder than the show does. And the show does it pretty hard, but has the whiplash back around also equally pretty hard and pretty quickly, whereas this event doesn't. So it kind of fucks this one a wee bit. Although it does, you know, just kind of recreate one of the episode plots here. And trip down the mountain. Do not question the bag on her head. He thinks her name is actually Little Snake. Oh, there are still people around. I'm pretty sure they're just not getting petrified because they're robots. You know, Hart can just call her ATM. It's like, oh, it's not what you think it means. It is what you think it means. So there's all this and blah blah blah. And character just shocked and it's like you're a cunt, and she's like, nah. And she still gives it because bless her. Neither of them just cap her in the back of the head, it wouldn't kill her. She regrets it, runs off crying and panicking, and etc. etc. Is one of the weaker gag picks for the show. Yeah, definitely. Also, you're still shouting. So apparently, this have like the manual reset switch behind their ears or something. You can just fuck with a doll that is going, "Hey, what's up?" Reach quickly, snap your hand behind, and just go beep. Fucked with your hearing. Maybe they do that to each other. No one really gives a shit about seeing it or her just presumably picking her up and, you know, yanking her out. She wasn't always completely insane, she was the betrayed. And they're doing it before the actual battle royale because I think I generally like Ouroboros' backstory here and stuff for the most part. This bit's a bit like, yeah. Like, these two are vicious enough to do that, but only like to tag up and try and knock her out and not, you know, each other or anything. And then I might just be, you know, not particularly inured to this type of stuff. Kill crazy. Also brainlet. They still use brainlet, bless them. I'm pretty sure it'll just say idiot and, you know, Chinese and all the rest, but picking brainlet is fun. It's that little bit of translation flavor that works. I like this. Delete all friends. Fucking like Sonic Adventure, Gamma deleting master registration. Yeah, exactly that actually. And she fucking killed him. Four, 5, 6 is up there, 7, and then there's the bonus shit. Could probably get it all in a reasonable time of me. Checking something because a notification dropped on the phone there. And I was like, oh. Unfortunately, I did remember to turn off Discord notifications on the iPad. Now, if I will remember to turn them on before, going to bed or anything, that's a different matter. As I usually don't, and then I wonder why I didn't get any emails or anything when I wake up, and then I see all of them on my computer and like, what happened? Before remembering. Minos. Or Minos, whatever. Minotaur. A car that eats meat. So, it is a bit funny that they use this to represent her house. Like, I think she does live in the same apartment complex, or basically all of them end up living there for the most part. Actually, no, she was somewhere else. I forget. I need to rewatch this show because I quite enjoyed it. There's a little shot, I think, either at the end of season 1 or the end of season 2, one of them. It's one of the end points. I think it's season 1, actually. Or after having been launched into space, Jashin's just kind of floating about gently in a little chibi form, and then the peaceful music playing just stops and starts playing, like the OP. And in time with the Jashin-chan, she just suddenly crosses her arms and does like a fucking what'd you call it? The Spider-Man web slinger pose of each hand as she crosses them. It's still in chibi form, face completely blank. Before whipping into you, and something about that is just stuck in my head as it's a very funny mental image. Have I ever noticed the McDonald's logo in the background of this shot? This shot's been used. This has been in like the base game for ages, and I just noticed it now. Toshiba instead of Toshiba. How does Minix know where she is? They're at a payphone. Appropriate metaphor for where she's from, I suppose, but not really for this situation. You don't need to pay money to people, it's not money, Jashin. Great enthusiasm. Give me a walk now, I'm in a hurry. I wish there was like stalls around here that would just sell me at least decent walks. For our current walk is kind of fucked because what did I do again? I think when cleaning it, I had accidentally removed some of the anti-stick? It's like some sort of outer coating to it, it's abrasive, and it ended up getting, stuff ended up being burnt into it. And it's like, oh, what have I done? I've cooked this wrong, I cleaned this wrong, and I've sort of ruined it now. Everything tastes like anything that falls into that spot doesn't cook properly or tastes a bit weird. Still have to replace it. For the most part, I just return to using the frying pan on top of the oven. I do like that. Hi, you have a cow's tail. The way she says it as a racial trait is also very curious. Didn't know her people, P90, until right now. P90 is great though. There's a reference you don't want to see, but so it goes. All you have to do is turn... No, you must do the circling spiral. Everything goes wrong. Don't improvise at all, Ouroboros. An adorable mental image. God forsaken. It's funny that she had the best job of the lot and was also very good at it. I forget if because they do tell you, at least in this one, like a lot of their stories and all will mention what they were originally for. Like the artist notes will mention what the doll did before they were, appropriated for military service, I guess, mercenary service, tactical service. I guess. Military ends, I guess. Before they became T-dolls. I don't think it's ever said what P90 did. Well, I guess the implication is she might not have ever had one. Whereas you get stuff like Spas 12 was a... She was like Riot Police or SWAT, one of the two. A few of them are like various police models. The AK-12 and AN-94 like a high Black Ops spec beyond, like top-end military grade. This is fun though. I don't remember if this is like a flashback to a scene we saw or a scene that they actually had. And of course the other one, like other examples of like G36 was always a made unit. And she still is. She just has a gun now. Stuff like that. Yeah, I don't think they ever said what P90 had. And she may not have had anything, so that's cute. But her whole gimmick, her hobby at least, is like copying people she sees. Which, if you remember, I say if you remember, came up in the now unfortunately named Freaky Pandemic Halloween event. Which is like the Halloween minor event from like the year before the actual pandemic we've had. So anyway, rip. Simply put, it's my hobby. P90 just routinely mimics Ouroboros to fuck with people. Ouroboros is like, she begins to crack. Can't possibly let myself open up to people or have fun. That didn't go so well the first time. I do like that line. There are some pretty good, like, serious lines there at this event. As they usually are. Sasser. Rightfully Sasser. As in the show. Oh yeah, her shirt says 100% meat, by the way. Because of course it does. I thought worse of you, but you're actually doing good. You're not doing good. You don't do good until pushed. And then eventually you do good and it's pleasant. But for the most part, you're just being a little shit. Do you feel like beyond? I guess that's part of what makes some of the Medusa interactions like harder to swallow. Is that they go beyond the little shit level. Because like most of what she does is just like mild mischief, being a little shit, being rude. And she is then, usually receives hideous violent retribution for it. The closer she gets to, like, otherwise doing actual crimes is, like, trying to kill Urine, but she is so hopelessly outclassed that it basically doesn't count. It doesn't affect anything or matter. Oh, it'd be awkward to ask. I mean, at least he all secured cell phones already. Mobiles, whatever. So cell is still accurate, but it feels weird to call them cell phones these days. In my head, a cell phone is like the older, the pre-smartphone kind of phone. Pardon me. And then a mobile phone is the current smartphone thing. She failed to escape the ice demons. Literal ice demons. You have a camp? The tent in the park where there's a lot of tents of unfortunate people, including one in particular. What are you up to, old boys? Wait for us at the camp. Picture them together on the streets of Jimbocho, but they don't actually ever show you the group photo. Not even in like the ending or anything. There's a little shot like, oh, one of us saved this or anything. It's kind of weird because they did do stuff like that for even like the Halloween and Christmas minor events and all, and the summer one. Was that part of the plan? Further and further down the tail. Oh dear. Run. I need a signboard that has that on, just run. From that song or whatever it is. I'm only ever seeing shitpost. I can explain. Death comes. Pats her. Just hoists her over her shoulder, however she's trailing her, and stops to pat her. Stomps the phone into bits. Again, you don't ever see it, which is a bit like, It's not like the... I guess actually this is a thought I abandoned earlier, wasn't it? Excuse me. When there's no one to, like, I have to order myself against, I tend to wander. I increasingly believe I have some form of ADHD. But it could also just be that I'm forgetful and like to waffle. But yeah, what is it? Like, I guess it kind of comes with when there's a constant thing you're reacting to, and other thoughts are popping up as you do it. My mom's also kind of like that, thinking about it. Like, she'll just be talking about one thing and then spring to another topic entirely. And it's kind of like, oh god. But I'm not one to talk. I do the same. I evidently do the same thing all the time on these. But yeah, what was it? Polarized Light had like less combat maps than the previous events, a lot more story stuff, and it didn't end up like not being finished properly. And that was because that was the event that happened at the time the COVID-19 pandemic broke out in China and like spread across China in particular. So fair enough. They go on CN release, like they had to release it in parts, like most of it in one part, and then after a few weeks, like the rest of it, and it was like longer than usual as a result. And chapter 13 is the direct continuation, which is why Ian is rightfully, I would say at this point, up in tizzy about the fact that we don't have it. Because, you know, it'd be nice. It'd be nice to have it. No reason why we don't have it, honestly. Again, there is no good reason why we don't have it yet. It is like, you know, the epilogue / proper ending to Polarized Light and what happens, as much as it is like laying the groundwork for getting to Dorandos and continuing. And granted, I haven't seen Dorandos or Mirror Stage at all. I've seen, I think, some of the enemies from either Mirror Stage or at least from around that point, because they were used in some of the footage I saw of the Continuing Turbulence ranking rerun, which uses the same map of all up-to-date enemies, and they're all hideous hell terrors. Because fuck. Yeah, but at least from the minor events and even some of the collab and stuff that came in the wake of that, like the Gunslinger Girl event especially was relatively pretty short. This one is has very few combat maps. Like you can actually almost count them on one hand. To be fair, it does have a really good mini game in turn. It does have like Gunslinger Girl, which also had fun mini games. It has its own as well. They do that nice, and that's nice to have. I like it. You might have actual combat maps, even if you do like fun things in them. There's a lot of flavor in these ones' combat maps. There's like special events that give you fun dialogue and all that. They definitely put like all the flavor and all in, but it is kind of like events, especially like around Polarized Light, which, like as I mentioned, at least certainly felt like it didn't have as many combat maps as like even Asim or Shatter Connection, which felt very combat heavy in my memory. Izumer 2 for that matter. Polarized Light, to be fair, was also like, I think intentionally meant to be on normal, very easy, so you could definitely get through it, because Shatter Connection kind of broke people. Especially, on EX, goddamn Hell Train. was especially on EX and in ranking and on ranking EX. Fuck the Hell Train. Hell Train was a nightmare. Actually, this is good stuff. So we'll pause that in a minute. Actually, well, before we get there. And you got her, Ouroboros. Or did you get her? Or did she get you? But not physically. This track has a very like near, especially near automata atmosphere to it. Kind of in the piano and like the drone. Mainly reminds me of like the title music. The see your wretched face when you find good in life. It's this bit I really like. If I didn't do it, you'd forget me. I want you to remember me forever, and by denying you your true victory, you'll never forget me. That's just really good. I was like, oh, this sudden 10 out of 10 for the character you just introduced for this event. As you know, it's a very good way of establishing, building the character, and just executing on her very well in relatively little, scene and writing. This is really well done. It's very effective. And this is for the wacky comedy event. They do have the habit of doing that, don't they? Oh, saying that, while this is a very funny event, with a lot of jokes and all that, I do think actually the fun part of it is that VA11, which to be fair is a very comedic game, but also fairly heartfelt and emotional game as well, ended up being the far more comedic, absurdist comedy event. I guess to be fair, it might just reflect like a change in style and sensibility as well. Oh boy, this map. Minos. All nines. I can't like scan her yet. She hunts you. Is the touchscreen not working? Like, why can't I scan her? There we go. Sometimes I'll actually press and hold the scan, and sometimes it doesn't, so you use the scanner mode. But yeah, certain death. Anyway, some, if you watch the show, very familiar tense, get running. So yeah, this dog here is Bete, or however you pronounce it, Jashin's dog, Jashin's demon dog. It's a reskin of the giant KCCO mechs. I'm not really sure what all the enemies reskins are beyond the ghosts, which are reskins of the Halloween ghosts, which are reskins of the brutes, the Sangus Fairy brutes, the one like the knife runners, which is very funny. Although their ice thing is entirely new behavior, so hey, it's actually a unique enemy. Oh, that's it. Turns out to be a reskin of something later. Mechanically a reskin of something else, but visually reskin of a different thing entirely. That'd be fun for them to do. So yeah, the horrible trick, she vanishes when you actually reach a tent. I don't know what the Oni are. I think like they're just original. They're very simplistic. They throw things that stun you, and then that's kind of it. We're not going to search the tent just yet. Oh yeah, I hadn't mentioned like the fears of things have changed where like the the Griffin good side, your side is the Uranai side, and the bad side is Makai for Jashin. This one I can say, because I actually did these in a different order when I played. It's ordered, I guess that would apply to the ice cream as well then, or shaved ice. Whatever one you get to first, I'll always play this one first. It's Pekora, but it's meant to be Pekora. In the Japanese, it's Pekora. I don't know why they changed it to an L. Couldn't have been because of the VTuber thing, right? Yeah, depending on what you do, Minos will teleport. She'll teleport like either sometimes depending on which one you go to, she may end up discomfortingly close. Or she'll end up like uncomfortably in the way where you have to go. So, you know, be careful with like what you search and when. The other order I did where I went for that one first, then like around to this, and then had to make an escape over here and back up and around to the thing because she teleported to like essentially in my way, basically. She teleported up here somewhere and it's like, oh well, I can't get past it to that, so I have to like loop around and make her follow me. I think it was that or I went for this one first, then looped in to grab that one. And something this thing that I had to reroute, essentially. No one listens to Ouroboros. She comes. I got this one and she teleported here and immediately walked close to me. I was like, and I had to, you know, run through to this one. Grabbed it and then where she teleported after this one was kind of like, oh, well, you just have to like loop around, buddy. She just got you pinned. Give me the shits when she did it though. You just want to knock over Pekora's tent. Pekora's tent. She will absolutely knock over Pekora's tent. So the park she lives in is also like, you know, a park that catch up kids live in. So there's a lot of homeless people tents in this park. It's like, is this just the commune space as well? I guess somewhere has to be because, you know, people will not be anywhere else, will they? Oh yeah, I hadn't mentioned all like the taglines for each one. You know, like the slime reincarnate one for chapter 1 and all that. Some of them are just kind of on the nose, and some of them are, you know, like chapter 6 is the point of bringing different words together is to be transported back and forth. And, you know, not all of them are like actual reference stuff. They're just fun lines. Oh yeah. Our other suffering one. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Nope, unaware. Yeah, I think this is what basically what it was like. Like, I don't remember all the tents being like there being that many. No, there was like some. But I don't remember them always being arranged around here as much as like the park implements, where it's kind of like, Why did you add that detail, I guess is what I mean. Because she was around with like local homeless people and they all know each other, and like it's part of the gag is that Pekora, angel from heaven, lost her halo, so she is now suffers miserably forever. Are they excavating? Also thinking about it, some of the positions are basically set up to inflict misery, huh? Like, mainly that climbing frame one. You climb up one side and the idea, I assume, anyway, because I didn't really have climbing frames, like, well, not that shape anyway when I was a kid. Around here anyway. Like, I assume you climb up and you drop down the other end, it's kind of like, well, kids are just going to use that as a platform to drop on and run on. That's not going to support their weight, surely. Should have picked a different corner, guy. Bop. Ouroboros teleports behind you. Some weasel word shit that. I guess to give her, like, they know that she can't hack them either because of the same thing, but still. Interesting that putting them to sleep via forcible means doesn't fall into the protocols, though. AI is finding holes all over the place. Hi, Jashin. Welcome back. And Zed is the only one who notices. Wailing lightly. Oh. Pekora doesn't deserve any of this. She never does. She's the psychic toilet. She's the millhouse. Basically, just long suffering in cosmic ways. It's just kind of like, oh. Never too badly. Like, they actually, for the most part, strike the balance of her pretty well, and she occasionally gets little moments of comfort and wins. Like, oh, bless. Oh, to be fair, the other angels who lose their halos, one by Jashin eating it, don't have anywhere near the misery or misfortune or the suffering that Pekora does. Maybe it's just something about people named Pekora, I guess. Based on, you know, the examples of the two I know routinely getting shit on by fate, you know, so it goes, I suppose. It just happens. It's a cursed name. She's so happy to have beef hot pot. And then she's like, oh, but I have standards. Like, no. Just eat the hot pot. Sometimes she can actually, like, bullshit comically well, which is very funny. Like, somehow she knows to say the phrase it this way to, like, the angel who means well. Look into my eyes. A guileless individual like Pekora can't discern that the gleaming hope here is actually just kidding. It's a very good line, that. I guess to be fair, as a high-ranking demon, she probably is pretty good at fucking with angels, so that probably shouldn't come as too surprising. I think I remember from Food Wars that A5 Wagyu beef is like the highest grade of that or some shit. I forget what the whole point of Wagyu beef was. I think it's that it's like super... not juicy exactly, like when cooked properly or whatever, it just kind of gently comes apart or some shit, I think that's the one I'm thinking of. That was a good use of her damage sprite. But yeah, I think that's the one I'm thinking of. I could be wrong on that. Food Wars. Shokugeki no Shoma? Soma. Which I think is literally just like the Food Wars of Soma or something like that. Or whatever they call the cooking duels in that show. It's a good one that I'm gonna watch more of it at some point. Feel me or flare, you do whatever you want. I forget, has she already made the quip about, I don't think she has. She probably hasn't, I just spoke over because I was laughing with something else, but again, Zed does make the quip of like, can you tell me where like a site to buy her Urinay's dress at, which is funny. She doesn't look especially like, you know, like goth, I guess. Kinda, to some extent, but I feel like there's not like, maybe it's the dress shirt that's throwing me off. Dress shirt, well, not dress shirt, it's the word shirt, I guess. Well, that's the corset thing. And I can see the coat and the corset thing, but the rest is kind of like, it looks more like skirt and shirt just look like, you know, casual wear, kind of approaching like either school or office wear. The entrance to hell. They didn't really make like a hellscape kind of thing, or even just like a darker kind of thing. It's just the usual field shot, which kind of undersells it. It's not that they don't like put effort and the money in, so to speak, because they do clearly. You know, like this event has 5 characters that all of them have their equips, outfits. Again, you know, like there's a whole mini game we get to. It even has an endless mode for how like go for high scores for stuff. There's an like elaborate amount of writing, even if it's not as much as VA11 because VA11 had tons of writing. And it also had a good helping of like VA11 also had more minigame moments and also more combat maps. I think that was kind of like the height of like event size and involvement, which is kind of funny when you think about it. It's not the Arxis or the Gunslinger Girl or DJ Max or any of those. Like, I guess DJ Max probably isn't higher profile than VA11, I don't know. But I mean, Gunslinger Girl would be, especially in Japan. And you know, of course, the Arxis one, absolutely, and of course the Division one as well, which was actually that Division one had a good balance of like writing and combat maps. I feel like, at least I remember it having such. But I also remember that feeling shorter than it actually should. Like it seemed like it was going to be as well. To be fair. Oh. Oh yeah. Division only had 2 characters, Agent 416, Agent Vector, to get $2 to get. But they did also have like each have 3 pieces of special equipment to like get the most out of their abilities. And they give them the most buffs and shit. And like one of those one of those was clear, I think. If I had clear gear, he got it for clearing the event, I think. Another one was definitely like in the shop, like the metal shop, and then the thirds were limited drops. I mean, compare it to this, where this only has like 2. This sounds like you get Pekora from clearing the event. I think we actually get her here, or maybe it's the next one of the 2. Minos and Medusa are limited drops, and Jashin and Urine are metal shop. Or event token shop, I should say. Because the metals are the pity system. Or the pity system is called metals if you prefer. A bull-headed monster. And speaking of, change to piss off, annoy, and gather everyone. Urina is going to destroy, and Minos is here for destruction. Pekora just wants food. But 4 in his own. I just realized they used her because she has a magic circle under her. This was a fun aspect of her character as well, but even when she seemed to get triumphant or be free of everything or whatever, she would immediately just whip around to just fucking lonely. She is a big baby. The powers that be decree that you are now the main character, and also only character. It'd be very funny if she actually did skip them, but she didn't. Actually, yeah, so here's an aspect of the event that I'm kind of iffy on. Because I guess it just kind of speaks to like I guess it's Yuzong who writes it. The usual writer-director for GFL, and I guess he, like, as far as I know, he also writes the events. But this is where, like, in trying to do the whole, like, how to see, like, here's the repercussions of your actions and the stuff you didn't do to make you feel like a bastard, Jashin. You're getting your own way, which the show does as well. Like, the closest thing it has an arc at one point does that as well. But even as it does, like, the funny little gags like that, it's just not as effective as the show is at doing it, because the show is just, I guess it doesn't go too far, it doesn't lay it on too thick, and also it pierces with much more absurd or just higher tier jokes, I guess. Heavier jokes, I guess. When I say heavier, I mean, like, more overtly comedic than just, oh, haha, like, she can hear it. She can hear the alleged narration from the future, reflecting on her past. I think that's kind of like a problem with this event, is that it lays it on too thick for this sort of stuff. I guess because He's long as used to writing suffering more than. If I say more than here, but GFL does have a lot of genuinely funny stuff. Again, the VA11 event is like wall to wall fucking funny. Despite being set in a very fucked apocalypse version of VA11's world. With a lot of drama. Broke her spine by accident. I broke her deal. Not until I slug her again. This one side's the Medusa one, and the upcoming one with Urinate that kind of laid on too thick. Urinate one especially because it kind of breaks an element of, I guess, the show's world by suggesting that money problems that the show only brings up like once, and only for that episode, to make it like as an odd occurrence where it's kind of like, oh, things got a bit tight, it's time for you to be deprived of your pachinko gambling habits, Jashin, or whatever. It's time for you to get a job, Jashin, and all that. And this one features Pecora, and we don't see it because no one cares about Pecora's suffering. It's not this one I was on about, not this one with Urinate. It's a later one where she has like a similar flashback to what Urinate says when Jashin isn't around. It's kind of like, how would you put it? My brain keeps wanting to say breaking kayfabe, but it's not that at all, really. Well, kinda. Breaking the masquerade, that kind of, like, well, not breaking the masquerade, you're breaking an element of the show, which is that Urine basically doesn't seem to work, she just seems to have money from wherever, which fits the fact that she is very clearly, despite all claims of being normal, some kind of, like, hell witch, who, despite being a human, clearly has, like, vast magical power, lots of magical equipment, and books, and tomes, and spells. Is superhumanly strong, fast, and durable beyond all kinds of measure. Has weapons of all sorts and just keeps buying more weapons overtly. Never has to flinch about any of it. And then trying to like layer on the suffering to like make, you know, Jashin's suffering build up to for her to like, you know, turn around and make good later. GFL lays it on too thick. The game is slightly lagging a bit because of the rain, I've noticed, which didn't happen last time. But also the last time I played one of the earlier cutscenes. I think the one of Ouroboros that had rain. The rain sound kept carrying outside of Ouroboros' cutscene, like Ouroboros' scene where she saw the rain. Like it just went straight outside that and kept playing over all of it. And the sound played over all the scenes and wouldn't end until... till, you know, the whole cutscene sequence ended and I got returned to the map screen. Actually, I think after this... Actually, I was doing it again. Maybe it was here that it happened. The rains have stopped playing, but the sound keeps playing, so we're stuck with this for a bit. This is kind of what I mean. Maybe it's because, like, having been assimilated like a Ouroboros as marked as a Griffin doll. Well, saying that, they do duel and shoot each other anyway. They can clearly fight each other within reason. But they none of them just, like, point guns at her at this point and say, okay, like, you know, you're outgunned by, like, dual wielding handguns, one handgun, and an SMG. You like stick them up. Although CZ does reference to having her big axe on her back, so yeah. This is another good line. The amalgamation of imperfect dolls. Yeah. But I'm waffling perhaps a bit too much because I'm out of water now, but my throat's like, I'm gonna need more water soon, buddy. Hello, Luigi. Hello, Luigi. He's woken up and he just tucked himself into a loaf while staring very pointedly at something. You see a wee fly or something? Is that it? Look in your ear. Do you hear something? No, he's like magnetized, like staring at one spot. He sees like something. These lines are from Operation Cube when 45's laying the smackdown on Ouroboros, being like, I perfectly planned through all your shit and I would end you. I simply gambled on it. She gets stressed, her stomach starts going. Which is funny because it implies to a lot of the violent murders and shit that she isn't stressed enough to trigger it. Does gastritis need an ambulance? I don't think it does, but I don't know. I didn't actually look up what gastritis is. Irony of ironies. Thanks, Ouroboros, you're really helping. Kill you if you puke on my hand. But she did it. Ouroboros doesn't know. She doesn't accept friends. Classic. See, I don't think the Raiders are meant to be continued, but the fact that it's been locked on the scene, the thunder signs and all, it kind of fits a bit, but also it's kind of like no visual effect to match of it. It just doesn't work, I guess. Because it's a glitch, of course. It's not meant to be like this, but so it goes. There was a similar-ish glitch in the last event. Not that you might. What's the? I don't know. There was some event. There's a minor glitch, and they're kind of like, unfortunately, like this kind of has to be this way. So here's what you do to avoid it. We will not be able to fix it within the duration of the event because the event's very short. So we apologize if that's, we are kind of stuck for that. Forget what it was, though. They announced it on the Twitter and all. Which reminds me, actually, the December roadmap, which says everything that comes out in December, that's going to be due out soon. Next week, yeah, sometime next week they're gonna have to post that and say what's in December. And I'm fairly certain chapter 13 is gonna be in December, but also I'm fairly certain, well not fairly certain, but also I'm kind of betting that when it isn't going to be. And then the Q&A for November is just going to be screeching in fire. And it's going to be kind of funny, and it's not really entirely undeserved, because they really have fucked up the management and the running of the EN server lately. Like, stuff shouldn't be held back this much. There's a lot of glitches and problems that EN has that are either fixed on the older ones because they have new clients that haven't been translated and set up for EN yet. And EN hasn't gotten a lot of the intermediary updates and patches and stuff that you'll see in ones like Japan and all that. Or the other servers give. You just get our client updates in one big batch. They don't treat EN the best or all that well. Which is funny because if like revenue charts that people have, people in the community are able to find and cite with like some accuracy. It might even be official, I don't know. But they're in Chinese, so like I guess they come from the CM community. If not from the developers directly. Kind of point to EN, especially on iOS, EN being like the third most profitable server, like behind. Which one was it? Like CN is still the top, I think, or close to. EN is right up there. It's either third or it's like a close third or it's second. Oh yeah, and they're doing dark magics. I do kind of forget that she is a high-ranking demon that must have a lot of dark magics and capabilities, given how pathetic a lot of her stuff is. That's where they ended up. The rain is still going. They are seeing Ouroboros through the Hell Pact with Jashin, I guess. Oh no, this would be slightly before that. Isn't this from the episode I'm watching right now? Nest of Demons. Bless. Welcome to the office. Don't mind the gun racks. Or the table full of mags. Or the hologram table for wargaming. Or the pretty basic echelon screen over there. Which I don't know if you can see in the footage. It's clear on the my iPad screen. Is like the initial AR team of like M4, M16, SOP, and AR-15 with SAA just on the back, which is cute. Well, that's one. What the storm was for. Actually, there's a storm in this sense. The rain will justify this. I'm certain it's not meant to be here. But elids. What are elids? Yeah, zombies. You guys, zombies. I just realized I might have been too far away. I might be too far away from the mic, and I might be quieter than intended. I don't have the thing I usually put all my shit on, including the mic. The very old, seat of a long since disassembled, broken fuck, office chair, which we had on like one of our first computer, basically. Give me a second here. It was old, and the fabric covering of the seat, which was still on it, was kind of manky. It wasn't. I kept it. I did wipe it down. I did, what do you call it? Use like. No, I did wipe it down. I did occasionally because Luigi would sit on it. And Lord knows what he does when I wasn't in the house. Pardon me. He's like a little scent clearing thing, all of it. But Renee insists on helping out. Come on, there we go. You can actually use a few teams here, so we will. Renee gets to kill zombies. They should have made her like ludicrously powerful to match her plot stuff. But they don't, which is a real missed opportunity. And all the skill on that. Why did I have that off? Hey, when did I turn it? Ah, you know what? Wait, no, I couldn't find it. That's right. It was recommended for one of the, I haven't done those today. One of the Sanguis Combat Sim optimal setups this week requires you to have auto skill turned off because you have Cord, and in that team, and Cord has the ability, comes back very fast, and makes a swap between firing types. And you want her on her default firing type because it's Pierce, and will just shoot through the hordes very efficiently. And if you don't do that, then you might win by, you might get like, top win bonus by her, or you might have like, a toilet time. Which is aggravating. Hello, Kurugo TV. It is stupid. Like, I appreciate the thing of making you use like pre-built dolls so you don't just use your teams to dominate everything, but at the same time it's kind of like, spare me that problem. Like, let me set like auto. That should just be an option in the thing. Actually, let me set if I want auto skill turned on or not at the start of the fight. It is basically the same arrangement setup as the what is it? Like the test, the training one where you fight like certain enemy squads. Yeah, it's something like that. Like you just get dunked in the toilet without it. And it's like, oh fuck's sake. Back from earlier. Oh, it's normal. It doesn't matter. Just go. One of these should walk in these. It's not only normal, but it's the rerun for the stream, so why try? There's a few that are like, who else is there? Basically, any doll that needs firing type. If you ever need CMS, for instance, on one, her automatically switching firing type is also like an absolute nuisance. Yeah, I found that, like, what do you call them? Callisto? The Game Press or whoever they are. on Twitter who posts the optimal ones on Twitter anyway. They say like, oh, you can turn it off in the options, and then I went and looked, and it's like, what do you mean? It's not in options. It's not there. I looked. It's not there. I had to go into like fucking 1.1 and turn it off before like they shot the training dummy. And then I forgot to do, I forgot to turn it back on for my theater runs and didn't notice for like the first wave. I was like, huh, why did that take longer and like risk the damage more than usual? And also, where was like fucking Type 88's giant laser? That should have fired off during that. Bop, bop. That was actually no, first. I am going to give me a sec here. I'm going to reset the game. Turn it on for the dragons. Why is this going on? What's happening? Alright, so I just want to reset the game. Because, you know, memory leak is still existing. It's still a thing. Have you experienced the glitch like, since this event's been in, at least, the Jashin one? I've had a glitch where, like, if I leave the app, like, the app's running and then I leave it and come back, all sound stops playing, which is like, what happened? Why? Why, like, fuck, how did you break that? Why were you touching audio? Nope. The audio is overlapping creatively. You're on trade. It only happens randomly? Okay. I've had it specifically where, like, every time I leave the app and go back in, like, the sound just turns off until I, you know, shut the game down and reset it. Where were we? Yeah, there we go. Let me in. This is such a good CG, though. I didn't notice that before, but now I have this also projected on my TV. Like, the black shadow up front just kind of cuts off and there's a thin line on the left side of the screen, which is not very noticeable on the iPad. But it's extremely noticeable on the TV. Because it doesn't fill the whole screen. Happened to me after doing a stage in theater. Okay, so they'll probably trigger off of something then. That's odd. It will happen today, because I haven't done my theater runs today, so I'll probably do that before I yeah, knock off for the night. I'm like chapter 6 of what, 8? Depending how long. It's only 11, I'll go to midnight. I agree, Commander. If only we could keep Urine on the base. If only she was as absolutely powerful in-game as she was in the show. I know, just shy of getting in the core today. Well, we will get the core yet before, like, theater ends, which is, like, a bit over a week. But still, it's kind of like, I kind of wish we were in core at the moment. So I could just be lazy for a little bit before having to try and core it. Although it should be easier because, like, the crazy death stack like we have LTLX now. or have had the chance to get LTLX depending on your luck, which should make that a lot easier. And also since then I've managed to like actually complete the M2, yeah, the M2, so the 2 mortars are actually relatively full strength. Went into a kill craze. This is kind of like, kind of continues what I say, where I think Yuzong is too used to like writing suffering, because he does lay it on thicker than the actual show did. Because while the show had like bits of suffering and all, it never really got too miserable. And while you know, it's miserable relatively, but you know, like the show is extremely comedy, so the misery lasts like 2 minutes. I guess that's also a bit of the format then. Yuzong, you had to be funnier for this event. Proving in theater, but my spirit luck was down the drain. Oh, suffering. It's the last theater of this version too, so I was gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna try actually really hard to like do predictions and all that, and see if I could get into like top 5% or something. And, you know, then I forgot the vote on like day 2, and I was like, oh, why did I fucking try? Fuck it, it's back to normal. I think I'm at like 20%, but I also haven't spent any material, so that probably puts me at like 11 or something. I've only had 3 correct guesses, because fuck guessing, just vote C after a point. Yeah, and that works for some, but for this one it's kind of like, yeah, you lean into it a bit too hard. It needs to be lighter to work as well as the show does it. Welcome back from your blood haze. One day we'll have Agent. One day. Again, I'm maintaining that they should have made her costume all just the brown bag, because that would have been extremely funny. It was a good message and all. It's just like, for the style of humor the show had, like, it's doing the same thing. It just goes too far on the, you know, like we are sad and suffering now, versus when the show does it, because the show does do it a bit, but it never does it very long, and goes back very quickly to just being, you know, this is the absurd shitting of an idiot, an idiot who's getting what she deserves. It's a good event though. She's bad at expressing herself, which is true, but shift positions. Oops. Bump the mouse, hopefully that didn't cause any problems. It's still kind of cosmic to see just like agent phones commander and just like, hey boss, stuff sorted. And it's like, we'll get there one day, but it is cosmic seeing it here. I've had like Sanguine's Catcher for a while, but it is still funny seeing them about the base a bit and seeing the story referencing them being in the base and stuff, and they're just kind of there. Given how long it's been, like they've been fucking with us for, well, since the start, really. Griffin will welcome you if you decide to come back again, especially when we have elids. Please come back. Bodes well. Bodes well. And away they go. 7. Shit. Yeah, either way, we might actually get all, like, fit it all into the one stream without having to split it or anything. Humans are in a deep slumber because we can't show killing in this game that has the release in the Chinese market. That would, well, we can't show killing by demons probably. That would probably not end well. See, it's kind of the thing, like, her costume is the, the Pigeon Baron outfit, so it's just a cape over her usual self. They really probably could have gotten away with making Medusa's the fucking, the paper bag. Notification on the phone, give me a sec. Let's flip over. Everything's fine. Alright. And we're back. You won't notice anything, but because of the way shit is at the moment, I'm just doing everything off of the same screen and having to swap inputs. Shit, a base by magic. Getting a lot out of the Operation Cube visuals. It's always very funny to me that they use this shot for like serious scenes, but you can see the old diner gate drawn in the dust on that screen. It's tucked over there. Except they are here. Boris's wish version is that Aiden is just nice to her. This one is like one of the bits that made me go Z a lot when I saw it. How her do a Native American dancer. It's like, I wasn't aware she was. And then apparently she only does it when she gets drunk. And I prefer the version of this which is the executioner just gets very racist when she gets drunk. Because that's just funnier to me. We made a killer robot with giant war sword, but also she just gets very racist when she gets drunk. That just happens. AI is just like that. Unironically, that's funny. destroyer is just a giant diner kid. I'm going to kill a woman. Fuck off, I need to go resolve my deep problems. It does kind of stand out to me that, like, this, like, her whole, like, I made my hotel thing actually gets revealed kind of before this, because it's the cooking minigame story, and you do the cooking minigame, or you can do it before all this. And I guess it's meant to be foreshadowing, I suppose. It's just kind of funny to me, 'cause it's kind of, this is a weird way of doing it around. I haven't tried endless mode yet, just because just the regular ones made me go, oh Jesus, trying to keep up with it. I wonder where they went. Tightly linked. Why is your day wearing this outfit? Yeah, because you have no context of why she's suddenly wearing it. It's like, what? Is this just like a little funny side mode? Is like Jashin just dreaming these between missions or something? In between making you play like fucking like hell restaurant mode. Which reminds me, actually, I do like one of the stages has like a little you unlock events thing. Maybe it's just like you can unlock certain events for the delivery thing to give you by doing other options. I just never found any of the ones I unlocked. I needed to look that up at some point. Like, whenever it says you can unlock an event, is that just another thing added to the pool that you can maybe get? When's our multi-ring leader squad? Creepy woman. Nope. Come on, let me in. There we go. You get over there. And if I remember right, it's just you just want to take the rightmost path, because there's not even really any events tucked behind the other ones that I recall. It is. I'd accidentally stumbled into the thing where, like, apparently, I guess like she must power up or something if she eats that before you do, and that made her trickier. I tried making the Ouroboros you get fighter. It's because like, oh, obviously you must make her fighter and win, and then the Ouroboros got stomped, and I was like, oh, okay, why? And it's a secret achievement if you beat her when she's eating the shaved ice. The only one of those I've ever stumbled into by myself. Alright. Beep. You did it last time, you can probably do it again. 1, 2. You can't eat the ice yourself? That's annoying. So it is just a timer to get to it. Just kill her before she gets to it, or have a more annoying fight. I guess this time I'll probably actually get to her before she does it, and I'll also be able to like make the Ouroboros use its debuff or whatever she does. And then not die and probably get rid of it. I'm not sure how any of that works, so I don't have Ouroboros yet. It would make me wonder if they're ever going to do. So I'd be surprised. I'm kind of surprised they haven't already. Just done like the red powered up modes of the ringleaders who had them. Like we haven't had like overclocked executioner or whatever they called that. Let's see. If I could just go beat her. Just to be safe. That's not true, roughly be able to handle it. If they only were attacking the submachine guns like they did last time and not the ARs, that's aggravating. There we go. I don't want to imagine what this map is like on EX. I haven't done it yet. But I imagine that fight is extremely bad. And I would at least hope for Hawk support, so I could at least have like 2B14 bombing those. I guess if worst comes to worst, you could use Sangha squads. If you have Sangha squads, I suppose, is the flip side to that. Magic leaves no lasting harm. But we don't know what the hell magic is. You can re-engage till she's dead. You know, that's a good point, actually. I forget about being able to do that. So I haven't had to whittle a boss for a while, because usually the bosses that wreck me also, like, can't really be whittled, or, like, they, if they don't just restore the fool every time, they just get whittled down so very slowly. It's kind of like, oh fuck, oh god. Usually in ranking, or like fucking the Ares and like pardon me, the Ares in one of the polarized lights optional maps at the end. Couldn't beat like the one where you have to like fight all of the bosses while like seizing the inner circle to unlock Eliza to get into fighter. Like I just couldn't do that. Like fuck off. Like I probably bullshit at now that I have like Hunter plus 2 Manticores, but not optimistic. You are not spec'd for mana, Ouroboros. You can't cross the streams, Ouroboros. The cosmos will hear of this. Yeah, it's a funny thing, but when they mentioned the detail of them all being like having locked hands when they were found, I didn't actually put together that it was because of this. I thought it was just some thing they had done or something Ouroboros had done for convenience. I forgot that they actually linked up here to do it. The level of attention I was paying at this point, I suppose. I do kind of wonder how much work had to go into like removing P90's sunglasses from her sprite, or if it was a thing where they were smart enough to make that like a layered element for easy removal for stuff. And if they didn't, they had to go in and like painstakingly like edit it out and make sure everything looked sane underneath. Sensibly, it would be a layered thing, but you never know. See, Ouroboros needs like, you know, mana to be able to manifest like the stuff from her neural cloud. 416 just needs alcohol and to inhale a nanobot ghost. And then she just produces an entire alternate reality inside her brain. What I'm saying is that 416 is incredibly powerful. I am here to brain you for real this time. Yeah, I do really like how they did Jormungandr in this. As I mentioned earlier, they do like whatever other like any issues I have with the event, it is like kind of like, oh fuck, like in the short amount of time we have with this character, like you set her up, establish her perfectly, and then execute on her whole thing. It's really well done, and one day, you know, like, are you gonna give us Jormungandr? Probably not, but that would be pretty funny and cool. I wonder what it means psychologically that Ouroboros didn't just magic herself an actual weapon, or her original weapon or anything, to fight Jormungandr with, and instead just had to pick up CZ's axe. Just imagine you magic your cannons back. You're in your magic world. If only you had imagination, Ouroboros. Literally, because I had cannons. Oops. Just show the line. You will regret this. Frick me again. Magnificent Snake. That's why you're the best, boss. To be honest, given they made like the one, at least in the English one, they made like the one crack about play this like a fiddle. I'm surprised they didn't fit a few more references to Metal Gear in here, given the amount of snake talk going on. She's such a big baby, and that's why we love her. His reign, I think, also gets stuck in place for the entire rest of the cutscene. At least the sound does, even when the visual vanishes. I suppose that's true, yeah, like, giving herself a weapon might make it, like, unreal then, yeah. That's a good point, actually. And there's Demon Suit Uriner. Now we're square. Now just live in your fantasy base. I like that they actually just play along with her. Because they ran into their, the fantasy version, sure. But it is funny that they do just play along with her. Just until they can bring her. The sassy gets. Just getting ready for it. We're gonna spare ourselves that. You're not. Oh. Scoop out the pieces. Alright, get your kicks in, let's go. I do like Execution was saying, can I get workplace compensation for this? Does that imply that Sanguis Ferry had like compensation for dangerous conditions? Or the AI is just better employers than any of us? I think like right about now I would call you the optimal point to like play the current game. I think we'll also sit through the rest of the story first and I'll show it off and I'll probably end the stream because I have to get up early tomorrow because of well, actually yeah, no, tomorrow I'm bringing I'm not bringing I'm going along with my sister and her kids to Christmas parade in time. Pardon me. Which means having to get up early on a Saturday. Work all week to sleep in on Saturdays, goddammit. Would you trust her for a restaurant? Like, she's good cook and all, sure, but you know, would you trust her to run it? I fucking wouldn't. Tell you what. Maybe a food stand, I don't know, because she could just do it on her own level. But even that's kind of like, I don't know if I trust her to run that. Probably for a bit, and then inevitably she would get lazy or fuck something up. Briefly thought that said soap the first time. It's always funny when I say she lifts up her skirts because they're not that long. She wouldn't need to, I would think. I guess if they're really like deep steps, probably. They appreciate that Jashin can't figure out that, oh, it's immediately the real one. She's still having her... She's just not smart enough to realize. It works because she's an idiot. Not all that much. If she's, she would never be honest to say it, but not all that much. I do think they probably should have come up with a... Maybe they should have just called it facsimile, or something like that, instead of just urinating quotes, because, like, yeah, the quotes do distinguish it enough to make it so it's easy to read what's going on, but it is a little, like, not as neat, I guess. It does make me wonder how that reads in the other languages. Like, line like that, basically, which is like, sure, the quotes again distinguish like fake from real. But just reading it is kind of like, you could have given her, like, you know, a different name or just called her, like, fake or whatever. I don't really remember if that was like an aspect considered or discussed in the show. Again, I haven't read the manga, so I wouldn't know. But they do kind of play into that a lot, though, like implying that a lot of what she does is to, like, you know, essentially help Jashin mature and be able to take care of herself, whatever. And go, don't think that really works exactly. Actually, I guess that's a funny thing. When she got teleported to Griffin, the spell broke and Jashin got teleported back to Hell. And then just came back to Jinbacho anyway, because, you know, this is where she lives now. But does this imply that when she came back from Griffin, the spell reapplied? It is funny making a plot point out of a season end gag. Nah, this is what I was on about earlier, this one in particular. That is lifted from, pretty sure an episode directly, but they add a bit on about the Urine and her money, and it's kind of like, kind of taking, like, you know, the elements of like the comedy setup that we don't really think about because, you know, going into it too much kind of like stains it all more. So, you know, like the money only should matter whenever it needs to be the basis of an episode for funny gags, rather than an actual, like, oh, she has to slave to get, like, money for Jashin's gambling habit. You're just kind of like, nah, that doesn't work. Not really at all. Like, you can also already do that with Medusa. And again, granted, I don't know if that's actually something like the manga or whatever, but I do distinctly remember that wasn't the case in the show. So anything that's after what the show covered, maybe, but if that's the case, then, you know, Jashin itself fucks that up a bit. But from what I know, I kind of believe it does fit more of how GFL prefers to do things, and slips it a bit. Like, I suppose it could be, like, you know, read as a joke in itself, kind of. But to me, it doesn't really read like that. Like this bit right here is kind of like, ugh. It kind of jars everything a bit for, again, driving in the tragedy for this whole like sweep back around and redeem yourself. Oh, thinking about it, it is funny that they have engineered a situation where Jashin can kill a urinate. Bonk. Right back around. It does get that wee end bit right. Yeah, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure they don't actually make a crack about the third season or anything. They like haven't been crowdfunded. Like, oh, you like, fund this the third season. They do reference the GFL anime earlier, which was funny. The healing and madness chapters. I guess it's safer to make a crack about your own, really. I give you another chance, would you do this again? Yes. It is funny to see that they are their own comedy act. Damn, agent. Yeah, let's have a portal to a nice city that isn't fucked by alien nuclear radiation. Just quietly. You didn't really need to write a reason to, like, say why it's not canon or anything, but I guess, tie up the loose ends. I have to try Yakiniku one day. Also, blessed CG of Agent just sitting down and doing something normal. The twin snakes just bullied by everyone forever. murder at the dinner table. But hey, snake meat. We cannot show what happened due to, you know, Chinese censor requirements, but you can imagine. I do like their dynamic. For once the commander gets to just relax and eat something instead of getting shot at or owned. I did appreciate this. We've just gotten an angel now. She didn't go home, she's just ours now. Going to war can't be any worse than working part-time. working part-time, like minimum wage jobs in Jimbocho. What's the difference, really? Fucking mix that fast. No, it's all rice, I suppose. Welcome to war, Pekoro. That's the whole event story. It's pretty good, even if I have a few issues with it. What's the star one again? Oh yeah, that's probably the thing. Yeah. I see. Anyway, cooking minigame, let's go. Yeah, because this unlocks around, like, fucking chapter 2 or 3, so you go in there and there's suddenly, like, scary monsters. And, yeah, Uranus is just doing that. Don't think this is based off of all restaurants and cafes and shit they show in the show, but it's been a while, so probably it might be. I think it's also just like a simple, you know, restaurant thing. Make a rock. She'll eat it. When you do this one normally, it actually starts you with You just have the lettuce and the potato. Right. Oh, right, that's right. This is just the tutorial screen. Yeah. There we go. This is what I was thinking of. So, like, the hell? Does it just get easier if you go further? I don't think they tell you, or if they do, I didn't read it, is that you can prepare ingredients while she's cooking. Which makes all the fucking difference. Like, it's the second you get into stage 2, even. Yeehaw. It does tickle me that whenever GFL wants to do like little mini games like this, it has to load them in as battle screens essentially. It always has to frame it as you go on the map and walk into a fight or event or whatever. It's just funny to see like the way they set up their engine like that means that they have to do it that way. Or at least they prefer doing it that way. Plastic cutlery though. It's not exactly the fancy hotel, is it? I mean, you know, it's for this, but still. I'm pretty sure this comes up in season 2. That whole flashback episode about that sort of thing. Jashin's imaginary version of Medusa is just only slightly off from actual Medusa, to be fair. But you know it's fake because she's saying, I don't need this much money. And that's how you know something's wrong. Because she does. Always. I actually don't know what it takes to get an A in that, or an S in that, or if you even can. I wonder if it will tell me. It might be time, actually. Getting a bit touchy there, you're in a facsimile. Oops. I guess actually if it's 0 turns, you just can't count them, huh? I guess it doesn't matter. What is it she wants? It's egg. It begins. Yo. Yeah, knowing that you can prepare ingredients while she's cooking makes like so much difference. It becomes like so hard, it's become near impossible at some points in that to get them all in on time without losing anyone if you don't do that. And then the next stage you're just fucked if you don't know that. See, the thing about this is like a lot of cooking mini games and stuff, especially in Japanese stuff, is making me quite hungry. The problem is it's nearly midnight, so I absolutely should be fucking eating. Or really, I shouldn't be hungry either. And yet here we are. I'm gonna get some exotic meat in the Christmas market tomorrow. To make up for it. Almost kills her. As you do. I do like the detail that they add a little extra node for each level you advance. It doesn't really mean anything, but it is just a fun touch, I guess. The back door, suffering enters. Alright, this is the delivery orders one. How do I make that? Potato. Potato, rice, other meat. Pass to both of you. Fucking, this is where it gets crazy. Fucking misery face. too. I have to sit down and focus for this. There we go. You skip.
きつい仕事をさせるなんてプリン10個分でもくれなきゃ許さないで
Fucking again, really shouldn't have played the food thing now because it does make me hungry. And I'm kind of sad that the other angels, like, you only ever see like Poperon in Picoro's like alternate outfit, and the other one just isn't here at all. Or two rather, because there's their boss who gets introduced late. I mean, you say that, but a lot of the harshness you're exposed to is literally a hell we have made for ourselves. And then I'll point out the endless one, but we'll do the last one. Because it's a bit special. Oops. Dude, under threat of gun. How is it? It's gonna be... Naturally. The last grill. Immediately get the meats going because they're going to be needed again. They'll start piling up death approaches. Problem is they all overlap. Alright. Shit, dodged the bullet. This one I think just kind of deliberately comes out faster than you can manage. Oops. So many goddamn beef balls. And just about. First time I did that, I actually didn't make it to the end score. It doesn't make a difference either way, because you clear the mission either way. So it's just, I guess, for your own satisfaction. And then, of course, there's the endless mode, which is just play for high score. Hand starts shaking. Doom approaches. Newly hired waiter doesn't say anything. Alright. That neatly brings us just over midnight. Right, that's gonna be the stream. Thank you for coming out and watching, Krigo, and anyone else who's there. Next stream, and then probably tomorrow night it'll be probably Monster Hunter if the other ones are up for it. If not, they'll probably not be one tomorrow then. Yeah. Thanks for watching. That's the Girls Frontline Jashin event. I quite liked it. Does a pretty good job of distilling the elements of the show and blending it together. It does whiff it a bit compared to the other collabs, but pulls it off well enough. With that, I'll see you around.